Permission to be Powerful is a reader-supported publication. To receive new posts and support my work, consider becoming a free or paid subscriber. I just hung up on a relative. Because if you don't listen to me, I won't listen to you. I've played that game before. I know how it ends. I'm not playing it again. People assume I make exceptions depending on the person or situation. I don't. My hang-up policy is universal. Why some people will never hear you. Trying to explain things to someone who refuses to listen is a waste of life. It's a losing strategy. And I refuse to participate in insanity. People tolerate crazy behavior just because it wears a familiar face. That's the real problem. There's no standard for sanity, and that's dangerous. Nobody really knows what normal is, but some people, they believe insane things. They look normal, act normal, blend into society. Yet they're completely unhinged. And they roam freely. They drive next to you. They vote. They raise kids. They hold power. And they have no idea how crazy they are. The sociopaths you never see coming. I wrote a whole chapter in my memoir about one such person. Within a few hours, I knew he was a dangerous sociopath. I tried to warn others. They dismissed me. By the end of that chapter, I wasn't just right. I was more right than I ever wanted to be. Why we keep toxic people in our lives. We project our own ethics onto others. We assume. They think like we do. They have morals. They are self-aware. That's why I stayed in relationships with the wrong people. It wasn't until I healed my trauma that I could see them clearly. And when I looked back, I saw something chilling. Some people in my life had never treated me with respect. Not once. Not in the beginning. Not in the middle. Not in the end. And yet, I kept them around. Never again. The hard truth. People don't change. Not in any fundamental way. If someone has been the same their whole life, what makes you think they'll suddenly wake up one day and be better? They won't. They will stay true to their nature, no matter how much you hope otherwise. That's why when someone shows me who they are once, I believe them forever. The most dangerous people look harmless. Saddam Hussein was well-dressed. He was eloquent. He was accepted in high society. And he was a monster. The truly sinister people in this world, they don't stand out. They are the ones you would never suspect. Some people are so evil. You can't even imagine how evil they are. And that's exactly why they get away with it. Because the average person can't comprehend that level of depravity. Your reality versus theirs. Two people can be in the same relationship, but live in completely different realities. One person believes in love, loyalty, and trust. The other believes in control, manipulation, and ownership. One thinks you're in this together. The other thinks they own you. And those relationships last decades. Not because they should. Not because they work. But because one person refuses to see the truth. I used to be that person. I was naive. I was gullible. I was easy to manipulate. Naturally, that made me a target. But those days? Over. Now, I see people for who they really are. I have 25 years of deliberate growth behind me. I have developed discernment. People don't fool me anymore. And here's my favorite part. They don't even realize it. So I delight in the moments when people tell on themselves. When they slip. When they expose their true nature. And when they do, I make my move. I hang up. I walk away. Because some people, they were never going to hear me in the first place. Boundaries are not cruelty. They're survival. I used to think I had to tolerate certain people. I thought I had to be the bigger person. I thought I had to keep the peace. I don't believe that anymore. Because I've seen what happens when you give people infinite chances. They don't get better. They get worse. They learn that there are no consequences. Before you know it, you've become the emotional punching bag for people who will never change. That's not a life. That's a prison, and I refuse to serve another day of that sentence. Some people would rather die than change. I used to believe in patience. I thought if I explained myself enough, stayed calm, and waited long enough, people would see reason. That was a mistake. Because some people, they are committed to misunderstanding you. Not because they can't hear you. Because they won't. If they listened, they would have to question themselves. And some people would rather lose relationships, burn bridges, and ruin their lives before they would ever admit they were wrong. The power of hanging up the phone. I used to take it personally when people didn't hear me. I thought I wasn't explaining myself well enough. Now I understand. Some people are just brick walls with ears. They were never going to listen. They were never going to change. And when you finally accept that about a person, it frees you. Because you stop trying. You stop wasting your breath. You stop. And you hang up the phone. Final thought. People who hate boundaries need them the most. Some people think cutting people off is cruel. But here's what I've learned. People who think boundaries are cruel are the same people who benefited from you not having any. They want you to keep explaining. They want you to stay on the phone. They want you to keep engaging. Not because they respect you, but because they feed off your energy. And the longer they can keep you on the line, the longer they can. Waste your time. Frustrate you. Make you doubt yourself. It's a game. And I no longer play games I can't win. These days, when I see the moment a conversation is over, I don't argue. I don't plead. I don't try to make them understand. I hang up. And I move on with my life. Until next time, Anton Dancer, writer. Buddhist Permission to be Powerful is a reader-supported publication. To receive new posts and support my work, consider becoming a free or paid subscriber.